Set up your environment and remove kind of red light or red trigger foods, very high palatable type foods that may be causing you to overconsume or once again snack mindlessly. When we can't control our environment, it can be a lot harder because obviously, say for example, you're around at a friend's place and they've got cookies and snacks like chips and crisps all out on the table. It can be a little bit more or a lot easier to mindlessly consume those foods because they're there in front of you. However, if possible, remove yourself, sit away from, the food, sit further away that you can't just grab and eat. All these kind of situations will help you remove that kind of mindless consumption of these foods just because they're there. If you can control that home environment, making sure that they're kind of out of mind, out of sight, it doesn't mean that you can't have them in the house altogether, but I think if they're consistently in your view and you're having a moment where you're mindlessly consuming something because of an emotional driver, then obviously that's what's going to be quick and easy to grab. Whereas if you put things like fruits, chopped vegetables, things like that straight in your kind of viewpoint, then you're more likely to pick them because they're there and available at that point. So making sure these kind of foods that are hyper palatable, very easy to overconsume with calories, are kind of placed in positions where they're a lot harder to get to, so you're making that conscious decision to actually go and have them. Another thing to do as well is just to be aware of zero cook type foods, because these type foods, once again, they obviously take no preparation, they're very easy to grab and go. Things like this would be kind of like crackers, biscuits, even things that like cereals, for example. They're very quick, you can grab, not have to do any food preparation for them. So once again, they can easily kind of fall into that mindless eating perspective from the kind of thought process that you're not actually having to spend any time and make that meal, because if you were truly hungry, you'd be willing to sacrifice a bit of time to make a meal. If you're finding that a lot of mindless snacking has occurred, or you're starting to find that it's harder to control your environment because either your environment has changed or for some reason you can't control it, maybe you're at someone else's house, then it really comes back to kind of stopping and putting some thought process into why you might be consuming something. Then you want to keep your mind busy, distract yourself. If you know that you've set up your day, you're eating good protein feedings, 3 to 4 hours, and you're keeping your hunger at bay, then you really need to think, okay, I need to distract the mind. Can I remove myself from the environment? Can I change something so that I'm not so close to that food, which is causing me to mindlessly snack on? Or can I distract the mind in a different way, such as going for a walk, calling a friend, and keeping that mind busy? So there's some tips on basically how to control an environment that you can't control.